Saturday night in St. Louis, the Blues lost goalie Jordan Binnington 6:45 into the first period after a collision with Nazem Kadri and Calle Rosen in his crease. And then they lost game 3, 5-2. And then afterwards was when the real fireworks came. Kadri was getting interviewed by you guys on TNT, and all of a sudden he turns and looks, and he says, not sure if he just threw a water bottle at me. And apparently, Jordan Binnington chucked a water bottle in his direction. Biz, have you ever seen or heard of anything like this before? A guy like chucking a water bottle at a guy doing an interview like this before?
I would assume most people have seen it on Twitter or Instagram. Grinnell's going to roll the audio of it, and you could hear the awkward pause. So roll it, G.
I'm sure you're going to get asked about this maybe once or twice over the next few days. So just take us through the collision with Jordan Binnington from your point of view. What happened on that play?
Just a loose puck. I just tried to get my stick in there and, just tried to poke the puck free. I think their weak side defenseman came over and kind of bumped me, and that's, what caused the collision. So, hope he's all right. I'm not sure if he just threw a water bottle at me or not, but.
Wow.
The poise. Yeah.
Not much I can do, man. Not much I can do. I'm just going for the loose puck.
In the midst of the interview, obviously you're trying to formulate a question and listen to what the other guys are asking, so you don't really ask the same thing. And I was the last guy to go, and I kind of held Liam off, and I was like, wait, did you just tell me that Binnington threw a water bottle at you? And then he reiterated, he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And you could tell that he knew, but he didn't really want to throw him under the bus, but it had already slipped out. I talked to the other guys after. We just assumed it was one of his own teammates trying to distract him and joke around after a win. You know how you're in and out of the hallway, you're having fun, you're excited you guys won the game, but definitely a bizarre thing. If you guys want to talk about the hit on Binnington specifically, I know St. Louis fans don't want to hear it. Going back to last year, that hit that he put on Falk was bullshit. And Kadri definitely has a past. He has been known to lose his cool. He has suffered based on suspension and length of suspension and losing money, and this reputation will follow him for the rest of his career. Doesn't matter if he's got a clean slate. He's going to be put in the Tom Wilson category. He's going to be put in the Brad Marchand category, and I'm sure that you guys can think of other names off the top of your head, but this is not far removed from that entire situation, to the point where this year during the regular season, they made him answer the bell. And between him and Binnington, there was a stick swinging incident. He was 100% going for the puck there. If Rosen would not have made contact with him, he wouldn't have crashed into Binnington. That's what I believe. I've seen still images. I've watched every replay from every angle. And from a player that has been in that situation, going to the net, knowing in the direction that he was going, and also seeing the fact that if he gets to stick on that first, based on where Binnington is, he has an opportunity to poke that in and score a goal. The result, horrific, because this completely changes everything for the St. Louis Blues, because after watching Binnington, not only at the end of the first round when he came in or towards the middle and the end, and then in the first 2 and some odd games in this round, he was back to Binnington when they went on their cup run. They had all the confidence in the world. Not only did they fucking make every adjustment they needed to in game 2, they were better on faceoffs. They were disciplined. They outcompeted Colorado. They won the loose puck battles. They were better on their breakouts. They were better at slowing Colorado down through the neutral zone. They neutralized Cale Makar like we have not seen all season long. That could be up for debate based on how Cale Makar might be banged up. And on top of it, the fact that St. Louis's back end is a little bit banged up. They're missing Krug. And of course they're dealing with Leddy's. I missed a game or 2 last round. Guys are banged up. And the fact that Binnington can play the puck as well as he can, this has royally fucked that team, in my opinion, because Husso right now does not have the type of confidence that he had in the regular season. Not to his fault, because he got thrown in the middle of game 3. He looks shook. He looks unconfident, and the goaltending cost them that game, in my opinion. When he got up and he went the one way to test it out, he looked all right. But then when he shimmied over to the right, you could tell his either hip or right knee was not doing well.
You could tell right away, too.
Right away. And you could feel the energy leave the building as he went off the ice. Now, credit to the St. Louis Blues fans, because as soon as Husso came on, they did everything they could in order to try to give him confidence. They all stood up. They all cheered him on. But it looked like a completely different, I don't want to say completely different team. They just couldn't get the saves when they needed it after that. And to me, I think that the Avs are now going to win this series based on that. But credit to St. Louis and the way that they were able to rebound after game one, because they made every fucking change necessary in order to come back and prove to Colorado, hey, we're not just going to lie down and die. We're going to come compete, and we're going to fucking try to run you fuckers through the board. And this, to me, is the most competitive, man-like series as far as physicality. I hope I did a good enough breakdown. I love St. Louis. I love the fans. I'm sorry I don't agree with you guys. And last thing I will say is there has been a few incidences where burner accounts and stuff have said some pretty nasty shit, racist stuff to Nazem Kadri online. That shit, fuck off. It's rubbish. It's bullshit. There's no need for it. It's gross. He should not have to deal with that. If you don't like him as a player and you think that he's dirty, it's one thing. To send those type of messages, fuck off. Put you in a rocket ship and fucking send you off this planet. No need for it.
I agree with him, RA. I don't know. Just because I look at Kadri reaching for the puck, right? And all of a sudden Rosen comes in. If Rosen hadn't touched him, he's reaching for that puck. He's trying to get a piece of it. And then he's kind of skating to the right. He's veering off. Now, I guess how would I know what's 100% going to happen? But without that contact, he's not even really anywhere near him. It sucks to see. I just feel so bad for Binnington. Having met him, good guy, came on with us, spent the time with us. I really appreciate what he's been through since he won the Stanley Cup, right? He lost his starter's job this year. He gets it back. He's playing big-time hockey, and he gets injured. It's just injuries are so unfair. It doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. But for a guy that was playing that well and had this huge Game 2 victory, they get out to a lead in Game 3, and boom, this happens. It's just such shit luck for somebody who's kind of gone through a lot. So I really feel bad for him, but I'm kind of with Biz. Now, also, I'll say for St. Louis fans, I think the hit on Gerard is a big-time hockey hit. That sucks, too. Another guy who got called out at one point, I think at the end of the season, maybe not called out publicly, but he wasn't playing great hockey. Gerard was struggling. He was trying to do too much, and he's been a beast in the playoffs, as basically every guy on the Avalanche has. But he's a human breakout. Like, you don't even really talk about him because of how good Makar is, but his edge work, the ability for him to spin off guys, he is such a great, important player, and he's done. And I can't even imagine a broken sternum. Dude. Holy shit.
It hurts to read that. Like,
oh my God. And like the guy at the balls, he kind of gets up. You could tell he's in horrific pain.
Watching that in real time was
dude, Barbashev was going about 100 miles an hour. So maybe you want to call a charge, but Biz, how would you describe in terms of because we already chatted about this, how would you describe in terms of you saying it is a clean and legal hit?
So he makes a play on the puck, and what I commend Gerard for is sometimes guys bail out of that.
He did not there.
He did not. And it's playoff hockey, and he advances that puck over to Manson. And when he gets crumbled, you just say, this guy sacrificing his body to try to make a play just so they can break out of their own end. When you have Barbashev breathing down your neck, and I don't know how many of you people know about this Barbashev.
Oh my
God.
God.
If there's one thing he can do, it's he could fucking paint you through the wall.
Bruins fans know from 2019, he was hammering everyone.
He is a wrecking ball. And as I said, if you watch that hit in real time, he crumbles him. And sometimes as defenders, when you make that play, you try to then roll off the hit. And so in some cases, a lot of people were like, well, look, it's from behind. Because by the time he finishes his hit, it's like Gerard's face is into the dasher. But it has to do with his size. It has to do with the fact that he's turning after he makes the play. And just like I said to St. Louis fans, I'm sorry about your luck. I know that you hate Kadri and there's a history there. They end up having to bite the bullet on a clean play at the other end that ends up injuring a guy who is very valuable to their lineup. So it's an eye for an eye. in this situation, and it sucks because you want to see these teams at their best, but I cannot sit here and tell you that Barbashev hit was dirty at all.
Would you maybe called it a charge, or could you have accepted a 2 minutes for charging?
But it's like this, man. It's a loose puck. So if he doesn't go for the puck, it's like then it's Barbashev's puck first. It's like that's hockey, man. I've been tweeting it out nonstop on these clean hits throughout playoffs. Like I believe the Zadorov hit was clean. I'm not sure what the other one I ended up posting it on. And there's fans online who are gonna scream and yell and tell you you're a fucking asshole. But it's like, fuck you, man. I was out there. I was in those situations. I know what it's like. I've been given.
You had to throw those hits to stay in the lineup.
I had to throw them and I had to take them. And I was a defenseman at one point too. And I had to go back and get pucks and get fucking ran through the wall. Buddy, I used to play against Cam Jansen in the old Windsor barn and he would bark at me before he did it. So not only did I have to fucking take pregame naps knowing this guy would be barking at me and spitting all over me off face-offs, but I had to have him run me through the boards, which, by the way, the old Windsor barn, they were concrete. They didn't even bend at all.
Oh, that old glass.
Dude, you might as well have, it was like you might as well had them fucking in barbed wire, for fuck's sakes. Like, there wasn't even glass back then. It was fencing. Okay? So I'm not being a hypocrite here. I've had so many AC separations, but RA, as you said, when you hear about that sternum, it's just like when you read it, you're like, oh. So go, yeah. So
that's a big loss for the Avs, dude.
RA, actually, before we roll it over to you, we should roll the post-game comments by Coach Berube, and then following that, we're gonna roll the response. I'm assuming by Bednar after he heard what Berube said.
Look at Kadri's reputation. That's all I got to say.
Listen, reputation, it doesn't mean anything. It's either a legal play or it's not. You know, we've talked about this with Naz and the way he's trying to change his reputation of making sure that he's playing through checks and plays legal or non-legal. And they're going for that. D and Naz are both going for a loose puck sitting at the top of the crease, skating in there downhill, you know, as hard as they can go. And both guys go in there. They're both going after the puck the same way, and they collide before they go in. So again, unfortunate. Same as Gerard for me. That's a legal play, and you know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, obviously these guys are going to get their players' backs, of course. You know, Berube said, you know, goes to his reputation. And Bednar says, well, why is he bringing up his reputation? It was a legal play. So I think that's par for the course with these guys defending their goalies. As for the hit itself, I mean, we've seen a lot of goalies get bundled these playoffs so far. I can't look at that and say it was intentional based on all the other hits we've seen. Like, I know Kadri, he does have a reputation, but you can't conclusively look and say, oh, he did that on purpose. I mean, we've seen goalies get bundled all playoffs. I mean, it sucks. Binnington, he had only allowed 9 goals on 176 shots since starting game 4 versus Minnie, 949 save percentage on an absolute heater, looking like the goalie from a couple of years ago. And then as far as the Gerard hit too, Bednar said he had no issue with it. Didn't think it was dirty. Thought it was a clean legal hit. He had no issue at it as well. So I don't know. It just sucks, man, because obviously I got a bet on St. Louis plus 320 for the series. So it's like, I mean, it's not up in smoke yet, but it just sucks because, you know, it's going to be a less competitive series now unless Husso can dial up his competitive level where he was back a few months ago. But first game wasn't so good, man. The results weren't so hot.
Going back to game 2, Perron, just so clutch. He's unbelievable player. They take advantage of Makar coming in and going back to Makar. He ran into the post in game 2. Definitely did not look like the Makar we know. Still better than 95% of defensemen in the league.
Yeah, but something's a little off, right? He had a great game 3 though.
Unbelievable game 3. Way more explosive offensively. He, you know, they're pressing for a goal, mind you. They're down 2-1 in that game. They win that offensive zone draw, but because sometimes, guys, when you have these set plays off of offensive zone draws, if there's a little delay in the puck battle where it's 50-50 off the hop, it throws off the rhythm. And he got a bit of a shit sandwich thrown up to him along the wall as he's coming down. It creates the 2-on-1 the other way. And I think that Kemper should have had it. And I didn't think Kemper had his best stuff in game 2.
Oh, sorry. Edmonton just hit the post. Sorry. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ, I just had a fucking jammer. I imagine a few people who are driving listening to this, maybe we hit the rumble strips there. So if you could fucking tone her down on the celebrations here. Kemper probably wanted that third one back, that Perron score that went underneath his glove, but a hell of a response by Kemper in game 3. Now going to game 3, salt in the wound. Kadri, both teams, their execution in that game had everything. Game 3, easily the best game of playoffs so far. And I say this is the best series right now going in round 2. He ends up tipping that puck in right after the power play ends. They garnered a ton of momentum on it. Both teams are snapping around on the peeps. And then he ends up setting up the eventual game winner where he puts it up the wall. Beautiful play to Lehkonen. And going back to Husso, just like I criticized Kemper for it, Husso, short side. I think he was trying to read past their back door with Byram activating as that net front defenseman and going down the ice to create that 2-on-1. He beats Husso short side. So right there, that's the game. And I'm really, really interested to see not only Husso's response, but St. Louis's response. But usually teams take on the identity of their coach. And Berube, although ticked off, he's like, guys, put it behind us. We still got a series to win here. If you want to hit him where it hurts, you fucking take care of business on the ice. But what was the last thing we talked? Oh, Makar. So you think he's a bit banged up right now?
Based on the first 2 games, he just didn't look like himself. Now the thing is, it's kind of unfair to just discredit St. Louis and say they have nothing to do with slowing him down a little bit. But right. You mentioned like going into the post, and I mean, it's just difficult as the playoffs go on. It could be an injury that nobody even knows about, something that happened so minor that just ends up killing you. And you're playing every other night and you're battling through it. And he's playing 30 minutes a night. But I wasn't able to see. I saw the 10-minute mini game of the Saturday night tilt in game 3, but I didn't get to see it. But you told me on the phone like he was back to his dominant self, just making the easy play and also just looking a little more smooth.
Where he's so dominant is at the offensive blue line. If he gets a little bit of separation from that forward, oftentimes he'll cock it and be loaded to shoot it. And as soon as he sees that forward freeze, he can jolt one way or the other. And he's so quick out of the gate that all of a sudden, just with that forward stalling to respect the shot, he's able to create enough separation to either open up a shot lane or a passing lane, or in some cases enough room to where he can legit just sneak in and get a better quality scoring chance on net in the slot area. You saw one of them that he was maybe a little bit outside the house on the right side where he didn't have the best angle, but nonetheless, still a massive threat and definitely looked more like himself from the first round we saw against Nashville. So we're going to look forward to game 4 here. It's going to be going on tonight. There's a few big ones because we got Florida and Tampa in a back-to-back situation, which can close things out. Now, RA, I'm pretty much done on St. Louis and Colorado, unless you had something else to say. I guess one more last note. Landeskog, he might be their best forward overall right now for the Colorado Avalanche. He's winning so many fucking puck battles. He is so good on retrievals, making the big plays when he has to. He looks like he's worth every goddamn cent. Some of you were worried that they paid him.
In terms of him, Biz, this is why if you're able to have such a dominant regular season, he was able to get that knee surgery, right? You know, if you're a team fighting to get into the playoffs, he wouldn't have been able to do that. He got the knee surgery. He probably feels so much better on the ice now. He's able to get the rest. He is more rested. Now, granted, you're coming off a surgery, so it's not like you've been sitting around completely just resting up. But luckily for them and them getting ahead and all those points, and they didn't get the President's Trophy, but who gives a shit? He was able to get that surgery, and now he looks unreal. And he's a real leader, too. He's the leader of that team. You can tell every single time he's on the ice.
Look for Bo Byram to step up. He has been tremendous. I know that he's in a maybe a little bit more of a backed up role where he can play underneath some of those defensemen that we've mentioned. But in the absence of Gerard, very similar type player where he can move the puck. He can get up ice. He's a great skater. He also defends well. I'm looking for this young buck to get going. And And because of the physicality and everything going on, I'm curious if Curtis McDermott gets in the lineup. That was a massive, massive signing. I play with this guy in Ontario with the Reign. He is a fucking killer. Top 5 toughest guys in the league. And Joe Sakic did an incredible job to address toughness in the offseason for these situations in particular. Very interested to see if he draws in as that 6th defenseman now.
Quick warning, Edmonton's just going on the power play right now after a hook to Trevor Lewis. So if I scream, I scream.
All right.
If he dies, he dies. Oh!
Biz, Jared Bednar did say either Jack Johnson, Ryan Murray, or Curtis McDermott was going to replace Gerard. So we'll wait and see what happens there. And also to piggyback on your point about all these assholes saying racist shit to Kadri, Peter Baugh, who covers the Avalanche for the Athletic, said the Avalanche organization is aware of threats made toward Nazem Kadri and is working with local law enforcement to investigate. So
he's a great reporter. He was all over all the water bottle gate.
Yeah, he's
Can we get local law enforcement into who's sending tweets out with my pants?
Shit.